President Trump, of course, sat down with our own great Greg Kelly, wonderful, his father, he mentioned, very famous police officer, of course, and a great interview during which President Trump promised to look into a lawsuit by the family of January 6th protester Ashli Babbitt against the Department of Justice. The president promising also to look into the continued employment of the Capitol Hill police officer, Lieutenant Michael Byrd, the man that shot and killed her. Now, I've got to say, this is this one that I do get a little excited about. This is a police officer, Lieutenant Byrd, shot and killed her. One shot, one kill, point blank range. Ashli Babbitt, of course, served 12 years in the United States Air Force honorably before showing up on Capitol Hill. She was actually laughing when she was upstairs. And Lieutenant Byrd, no warning, no nightstick to the head, no taser, just bam, you're dead. Honestly, didn't we just get finished rioting from coast to coast over George Fentanyl Floyd, because he died actually of cardiac failure while being arrested yet again. And Ashli Babbitt is shot and killed. And the Democrats literally gave out awards for this and promotions to Lieutenant Byrd like he's a hero of some kind because he shot and killed a woman that was unarmed and may have been guilty of trespassing. She may have been convicted of trespassing had she not been shot and killed. And you know, I love to compare it to the 2020 riots at the White House, where Democrats attacked the White House for 3 days, set fire to the Church of the Presidents, injured 180 police officers, forced the evacuation of the President of the United States to the nuclear bunker underneath the White House, along with his family, and nobody was sentenced to a day in jail, and 180 cops were injured.
Well, there was lots of cops and Capitol Hill police injured on January 6th. And you can't be that surprised when you broke into Congress. You are basically at the door of a chamber on Capitol Hill. And Ashli Babbitt, you know, what was she doing? What was she trying to accomplish by going into the chamber? You know, there was
well, we'd asked her, but she was shot to death.
Senators who were very scared of their lives, both Republicans and Democrats. This was a moment of unity after this happened. Kevin McCarthy, Lindsey Graham said, "I'm off."
After the shooting, you mean?
No, but after January 6th itself. And so no one, of course, it was a tragedy, but. You know, and we'll see what Trump does, because right now the Department of Justice is kind of pushing back against this lawsuit. But we shouldn't say that she's some innocent person just because she served in the military when she was. I don't think most members of the military support storming Capitol Hill.
I think the question is whether or not what her actions were deserved death. That's the question at hand here. And I think a lot of the questions surrounding January 6th to this day are, does the treatment of these J6 protesters who were in jail, who were treated terribly in jail, in solitary confinement, all these terrible conditions that were well documented by Marjorie Taylor Greene and other members of Congress who consistently went to visit them, were those did that punishment or did that process match the nature of the crimes these people committed? And I think time and time again, the answer has been no. And that's why the administration went forward with those types of pardons. I think it was a terrible thing what happened on January 6th, no matter what side of the aisle that you were on.
That's right.
But to say that created the preconditions to violate everyone's civil rights wrapped up in this.
But isn't there a massive difference between what a local cop does in the fog of war with some woman crawling through a window that she's not supposed to be crawling versus the 23 FBI informants that were on the ground that knew about this in advance, right? Like, clearly, the premeditated nature of what federal law enforcement knew, that was terrible, and that there must be reform for. And yes, the sentencing, the policing, the solitary confinement, I just think it's different what local law enforcement did in the fog of war versus what the federal law enforcement did before, during, and after.
Well, again, May of 2020, it went on for 3 days. The attack on the White House, the siege of the White House, they were mostly federal officers, too. U.S. Park Police, U.S. Secret Service Uniform Division, plus...
And people who received money from USAID. No.
Plus DI, plus probably funded by the taxpayer. Amazing stuff. And again, 180 police injured. They set fire to the Church of the Presidents, forced the evacuation of the President of the United States and the First Family. Not a single prison sentence for anybody, much less was anyone shot. And they were throwing M80s at the police. That's an eighth of a stick of dynamite, would blow your hand clean off.
Information. Truth is freedom. is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.